Siege has always had a thriving T2 scene, but it's never been as exciting as it is right now. The king himself, Stompin, has just qualified for T2, and it's got the scene wondering, is it a fluke, or is there really something there? Coming from console, Stompin has long been known as one of the top players in the scene, and now he wants to compete in the world of PC. But it won't be easy. Standing against him are some excellent players, and if they want to win, his team is going to have to put up quite the performance. In this video, we'll break down his team, M80X, and their match to qualify for T2. The map is Lair, and the question posed, is Stompin the real deal, or is M80X nothing but hype? But before getting into it, has this ever happened to you? You're in a clutch, match point scenario, ready to swing your opponent and win the game for your team, when suddenly, likely the most frustrating thing when playing games online is lag. It's unfair, unpredictable, and really just takes you out of the game. But what if there was a way to fix it? Thanks to GearUp Game Booster, now there actually is. GearUp works by using intelligent algorithms to calculate the shortest path between your device and the server to minimize both packet loss and ping. Take my case for example. I live in EU and frequently play on nightmare ping with friends in NA. My first time trying GearUp, I was blown away. The ping reduction was immediately noticeable, but the biggest thing for me had to be how it felt. I was so used to lag spikes ruining my games, but playing on consistent ping made the entire experience so much more fun. GearUp has been established for a while, having had previous partnerships with other Siege creators like Thekil, Atheno, and Bikini Body, so you know it's safe to use. Check it out using my link in the description down below and get 1 extra day free using the code HIGHBEAR when signing up. Thanks to GearUp for supporting this video, and let's find out if Stompin really is the real deal. Being such a new map, Lair is still being figured out by most teams, meaning it has a tendency to be pretty defender favored. But that doesn't mean teams never win their attacks. After winning the first 2 rounds, Run It Back are playing Bunks and Briefing. This being the third site they play, it's the one the defense is most likely to lose. But that doesn't mean attacking it is easy. Run It Back set up with an upstairs extension, creating vert holes above site they can use to contest both doorways and breach, prevent M80 pushing in. They're only playing 1 player down below, and they want to make sure he's supported so he isn't cut off. The rest of their defense plays over towards R6 room, barricading doorways from mezzanine for an audio cue in case of a lurk, and top green to pinch storage hall during a top take and down green hall in a site direct. The round starts, and M80 immediately get to work dismantling the defense. Franklin and Aiden open breach while Vic drones Stompin' in towards Ops. He makes his way along Mez before encountering Run It Back's barricades, where he patiently waits for someone to make a mistake. In the meantime, Franklin finds Fozo trying to contest the open breach, and with the site player taken down, the rest of Run It Back start feeling a little antsy. Yuv walks into the hallway to check if any of the windows have been opened, but with Stompin' waiting opposite the barricade, this may prove a fatal mistake.
Like a cheetah. He is just absolutely ready for it, waiting for the cam. Cam does go off. It's going to give a little bit of a spot so they know that somebody, the Nokk, is sitting down there. That's going to be Stompin' to find it. Yuv goes to take the engagement and pays the price for his hubris. Don't peek the king.
Beautiful play out of Stompin' as he picks up Yuv through the barricade, but this is actually even more impressive than it seems. Using the Nokk, Stompin' positions himself just outside the barricade, standing directly under a default cam, but opting not to shoot it, thus lulling the defense into a false sense of security. But this play isn't just Stompin' on his own. Vic is there for support, sitting on a drone and watching the hallway. When Yuv exposes himself, he calls it out to his teammate, allowing Stompin' to collect an easy kill. A beautiful bit of team play, but the round isn't over yet. M80 still need to get into sight, and with the players up above, it isn't obvious how. The defense still holds line of sight onto the breach and site doors, so they come up with another brilliant idea to guarantee they can get in. Stompin' is still above, having stepped away after his kill, but he now rotates through Master, getting ready to re-engage. The idea here is to give the defense 2 bad options. Either fight Stompin' above, essentially guaranteeing M80 will take sight, or continue to contest the vert, while the Nokk lurks in upstairs to collect all the kills.
Starting to get a little bit tough for the defense. First minute is gone.
The win condition here for the M80X team, all right, they've already started to whittle this squad down into a 5v3. You said it, but Turkey still left alive 8-0, running the Ella with the shoddy again, but getting very, very close to an unwinnable round in this case. Pretty standard setup here from a layered defense perspective, though, is gain control of the R6 room upstairs.
Lair is a map which really lends itself to vertical play. With so much destructible flooring throughout essentially every site, it factors in some way into almost every round. This round is no exception, and Run It Back set up their extension into armory and maintenance, giving them angles into support while preventing M80 from using the vert for themselves. The thing is, M80 don't want to deal with all of that. Their methodology is to hit where the defenders aren't, so they start to set up for a rush. Their idea is to play a 2-2-1 crunch, with Stompin' and Aiden being the noisy distraction bottom green, pulling defenders' attention towards them while the rest of the attack pushes Warehouse and Stock to shoot the distracted defenders in the back. They correctly gather that with an upstairs extension, Run It Back don't have the bodies to effectively watch Warehouse, so M80 will have an uncontested approach, so long as the site players take the bait. Will it work?
I love the double shield play here from this attacking team. You said it, the Spearhead, backed up by Franklin on the Blackbeard. You don't get to see him played very often because he was banned in nearly every single map that we watched early through this Qual 1 and Qual 2. But wow, Vipoa and Turkey taking down Aiden and Stompin', the two previous MVPs that we've seen. Boy, a win con met right now. Vic and Rice, the only two left alive. They're going to go ahead and even this thing up, though, with Turkey being down. No, he is recovered, but the nade coming in. So close. Man, 2 minutes left in this round. It feels like it's almost over.
Yeah, with a long time. No way! Sends in a Kobe. Rice finds Turkey off the grenade shot, and that's going to be the equalizer. And
An excellent bit of team play as the bait works perfectly. Stompin' and Aiden both go down, but it doesn't matter as the rest of M80 pulls through to pick up the pieces. All of the noise lower green draws the defenders back to site, where they're caught out of position by the rest of M80. While Vipoa and Turkey are distracted, Franklin works in through barrels and injures the castle from behind. Then, he engages with Fozo, becoming a secondary distraction that his teammates work around. Franklin goes down, but Rice collects the trade before spinning around and pushing back into Poison, where he catches Yuv dropping the hatch to come help. In the meantime, Rice joins him, continuing to press, tossing grenades at the injured castle to finish off the kill. Having equalized the round, the two remaining attackers have control of the entire site, so they rapidly collect case and start a plant inside lab, where the vertical holes created by the defense can't see. It's all but guaranteed to go down, and once it does, the defense will be forced to retake, having to essentially attack their own site. And without any info or utility, this retake is looking to be rough.
and now you find yourself with Vigil coming in. He's going to be blocked from the drones as the gadget is in a play, but it's going to be a post-plant scenario, and they find one. Vic Vance takes Vipoa off the board as it gets answered back from a delicious little vector shot. So now Rice versus Rai as the battle for the R's takes place. Folks, you got to have 7 seconds on the board to get that defuse started. If you don't, you find yourself out of time. So he has to be aggressive, all while still being cautious. Goes for a little bit of the sound cue. He's starting to stick it. He gets off. A couple of pre-fire shots go out. Only a few seconds left to get this defuse started. Now they're going to be playing a difficult game of tag, and it's ring around the rosy. Not going to be enough time. Rice is going to find him.
The side swap, and M80X move to the defense. To start things off, they want to defend Master and R6, the favored site on Lair. With its long hallways and choke points, this site lends itself quite well to bunker defenses, with shotguns for close angles and stall util to stop pushes in their tracks. In line with this, M80X bring along a lineup which leans exactly into this site's strengths. They bring along the Bandit to keep walls closed and the Mute to slow droning. Furthermore, M80 bring along the Smoke to hold hallways with his shotgun and stall pushes with smoke, and the Warden to deny any execute utility in the form of smokes and flashes. For their part, Run It Back want to attempt an R6 room take with a lurk through mask and ops. Their idea here is to make a ton of noise R6 side, drawing defenders away and allowing the lurkers to find impact during a backstab. But with Stompin's position on the smoke storage, there's potential for him to pose an enormous problem. The round starts, and Run It Back begin by opening the breach and barricades all around the map. Their goal is to create pressure, leaving M80 guessing as to from where the attack will come. This is such an important concept in high-level play, which does a lot to make attacking much easier. By keeping the main direction of the attack unclear, it forces the defense to worry about all points of entry, adding to the pressure they feel. Or at least it would if the attack was successful in opening things up. But Aiden has other ideas. As he waits warehouse door for an attacker to make a mistake, he hears a noise as Vapoa gets on rappel and runs out to take him down. This secures the advantage for his team, and he scurries back to site before Run It Back can send anyone to take him down. In the meantime, Rai mabs open the mask wall, opening a point of entry which can be used later on, before rotating off to start fighting for control towards storage. Speaking of which, Stompin is playing in storage, or at least he has been up until now. But with Aiden securing the opener, he decides he doesn't need to stay. Playing the smoke, he's got the perfect kit for the position, but it's still a relatively isolated spot. Despite how good he is, there's always a chance he loses the fight, so he decides to fall off, reinforcing the rotate and playing closer to his teammates, where they can use their numbers to their advantage. This is such a smart play, and it's so easy to miss. It's nothing flashy, but it's a huge part of what makes M80X so successful. They understand their best odds in gunfights come when they take them together, so they always try to work off each other in order to improve their odds. It's a frequent feature of their play, and we'll see it more in future rounds. In the meantime, Run It Back realize storage is now uncontested. Fozo rotates over and opens up the wall, preparing for Run It Back's final execute. They make tons of noise breach, drawing defenders to play crossfires all across R6. And look at this, there's no one playing mask. M80 have left a huge gap for the attack, and Yuv is outside breach, ready to exploit.
The big question here, Yuv, on the Ash, your entry is still outside, right? So being too slow, that feels like part of it right there, is your entry. Now he gets taken off the board as Aiden is able to find a headshot there.
A massive find out of Aiden as he picks up Yuv from the floor below. After his run out, he never rotated back to site, opting instead to simply stay downstairs. This position serves double duty, denying any bottom-up vert should the attack bring a buck, while being in position to stop plant with a C4, or deny the breach walk-in, as we've seen. The rest of Run It Back is left scrambling, now forced to push into the crossfires setup. Barring a miracle, they shouldn't stand a chance in this round.
Believe puts himself onto the double for the round. Flashes start to go out, smoke start to go out. Grenade's going to force some movement on the side of the defense, and so they're going to put themselves in a 5-3, looking towards the long angle. Smoke starting to happen. The Lion Gadget tried to reveal where these defenders are. Nobody makes the move, and that's going to be the first one. Turkey finds one. Turkey good for two, as both Stompin and Franklin go down. Now tied up, equalized, 3-3, 19 seconds left, and that's going to be Vic Bands to take Turkey off the board.
Whoa.
Vic Bands now good for a double. Rai answering back onto Rice. We're going to find ourselves in a pretty critical situation. 8 seconds left. It is all on the shoulders of Mab, who takes a swing back into a 1v1 again. 4 seconds, but again, it's ring around the rosy. Just gets the diffuser in hand, starts to get it going. He's going to have to stick it, and instead, he's going to be dealt with.
A good tryout of Run It Back keeps the end of the round close, but Stomp and Smoke playing hard to kill stalls so much time for the attack. He stays alive, refusing to engage, knowing the win condition has switched from finding kills to playing time. He dodges bullets and grenades before finally going down. But with so little time remaining, Run It Back are forced to search in vain for gunfights, letting Aiden simply win the round on time. For their next defense, M80X opt to play lab and support. Interestingly, contrary to Run It Back, they decide to forego a vertical hold, playing the start of the round exclusively horizontally. This may seem initially like a bad idea, but M80 have actually cooked up an insane strategy to punish the attack if they opt to clear. M80 start off with everyone downstairs except for Aiden and Stompin poking up at the tops of staircases. Usually, the idea here would be for the defenders to shoot drones and fall off, but M80 have something different in mind. The round starts, and Run It Back are able to rapidly take armory and maintenance off the back of a drone from Fozo. Remember, M80X aren't contesting this space at all, so Run It Back acquire everything for free. But this should be bad for M80, right? They give Run It Back everything they're after, allowing them to set down ram gadgets and start working vert within the first minute of the round. So what's the idea here for their defense? Well, M80's idea is to turn Armory into a kill box, and they've sent Stompin' and Aiden to punish the attack. Stompin', lurking around Green Hall, catches Yuv on a drone with some well-timed aggression. This alerts the defense to the roamer, so Stompin' calls his teammate for some help. And as Aiden makes his way upstairs, him and Stompin' spring their trap.
Vic, Stompin', and Aiden all going to go left unchecked except for some drone usage.
Yeah, huge opportunity there with the roam clear gone. Man, this is making it very difficult for the Run It Back squad. But Turkey, somebody said it, man, just going absolutely insane. 13, 4, and 1 on the back of that ace to start this map off on Ella. Just continuing to back up this play.
Ooh.
Stompin', though, taking one down. A 4v2 scenario. This, a lot of pressure now on this Run It Back team.
Makes a quick run across, and now it's on the other side of it. Another run back as games are being played. Fosu finds one, Stompin' goes down. Aiden is going to take him off the board.
Stompin' impacts the medical wall, distracting the defenders and drawing their attention as Aiden walks up blue to support. He takes down Blackbeard before working off Stompin' to pinch the now isolated Vapoa. Then, Stompin' continues to press, running through medical to fight Fozo in reception. He plays it so smart, refusing to engage alone. He has shown peeks and sprints back and forth to draw out the fight while waiting for Aiden's help. Again, M80 show what makes them so good, fighting together to guarantee a trade, making it impossible for Fozo to equalize. Elsewhere, Turkey takes down Rice in an engagement outside storage, but it feels almost like a consolation prize. With the rest of his team taken down, there's really not much he can do. After 2 successful defenses, it's now time for M80X to attempt their offsite. For their site of third preference, they decide, same as Run It Back, to go bunks and briefing. Also like Run It Back, their defense focuses on defending upstairs, using shotgun holes in the floor to contest the site. They start with Franklin, Aiden, and Stompin' around R6, with Vic starting Mez to guard the lurk. Finally, Rice sits below, helping to hold site and playing in a position where he can call out rushes to his team before they occur. The round starts, and Run It Back begin by immediately opening up the bunks wall to apply site pressure, before rotating upstairs to begin breaking apart the hold above. Yuv and Vapoa work Skybridge, while Rai pinches Pebbles. They want to work together to remove the player's storage, but that might be easier said than done, because that player is Stompin'. And set up on the smoke, he's looking to cause some problems. With smoke for the hallways and the shotgun up close, he's a force to be reckoned with. Will Run It Back be able to make a move?
Maybe a bit of a sound cue, maybe a bit of that intel coming from the Fenrir gadgets. They go off. You know where the push is coming from at that point. Here it is again, though. Vapoa setting out those Yin Candelas so they can take up a little bit of space. Not necessarily being used to get yourself in for an execute, but to just take up that necessary ground.
Candelas are tossed in, blinding out Stompin', but he answers the entry with a smoke. This forces the attack to wait for the cloud to dissipate and buys Stompin' enough time for the flash to wear off. In the meantime, Aiden swings the gallery window, picking off Turkey as well as all of Run It Back's back pressure. This breaks the attack's attempt to contain, meaning Run It Back no longer have the upstairs defenders surrounded. Run It Back realize their plan isn't working. In a man disadvantage, trading 1-for-1 with Stompin' just moves them closer to losing the round. So Vapoa rotates away to try and make a play. He sets up outside the gallery window, figuring he can use the Ying to flash the defenders. But the idea here isn't for him to take space. He wants to use his Candelas to make the defenders upstairs unable to see, giving his teammates an opportunity to simply walk into sight. Remember, M80 have only one player defending below. If they can take him down, it could give them a chance to stick a plant. Let's just hope M80 haven't anything to counter the Ying.
Smoke goes out, and they did it early, so now have to rely on some of the more traditional means to hold that corner. A little bit of gunplay needed.
Turning point in this game, though, Turkey going down, Aiden stepping up, backing up his performance on consulates. This right now getting to be a very difficult situation for Run It Back. You still have got the Ying in play, looking to toss one of those Candelas in to make the push, but M80 ready and waiting for it, and Aiden picking up another. Man, when he is heating up exactly when this team needs him to.
Yeah, No kidding. Stomping able to take a shotgun and shut down Yuv, which means we're going to sit into a 4-2 scenario. A quick peek, and then back to holding the angle, hoping that there will be a double swing, hoping to bait somebody into actually making the mistake, but nobody really on that. Shotgun does get taken down as Franklin is out in a quick swing. Vic Bands to answer back onto Vapoa.
Excellent work out of Aiden, as he does his job perfectly. As the Warden, he's the only defender who can contest in the face of flashes. But what is it he needs to watch? Remember, just a moment ago, the attackers were pushing upstairs from storage. Despite the noise and imperfect information at his disposal, Aiden reads the situation perfectly, focusing his attention on the sight hit instead of getting distracted by the Candelas flying in. The rest of M80 do excellent as well, with Stompin picking up Yuv attempting a backstab, while Vic, Franklin, and Aiden set up a disciplined 3-way crossfire to avoid giving Vapoa anything, leaving just Rai down below in an unwinnable situation. After a perfect site rotation, M80X are back defending upstairs, running essentially the same lineup, but swapping out the Bandit for a Valk. They noticed last round that Run It Back were able to easily open wall using the Maverick, so they opt to bring someone they figure will be a bit more valuable. With her cameras and C4, Valkyrie is excellent on layer for playing below and blowing up attackers with info as they try to push site. With literally the entire top floor destructible with the exception of the hallways, her value here has the potential to be immense. The round starts, and things start the same for Run It Back. They successfully open up the breach, while simultaneously using the gridlock to get control of bridge. Turkey sees nobody is contesting him, so he sets up gridlocks on the stairs and holds the hallway. But why isn't he pushing up? Well, in this round, actually taking bridge isn't that important for Run It Back. They're trying a completely different attack, this time opting to go for command instead of R6. To this end, Yuv and Rai take ops off the back of a drone from Fozo. They find the space uncontested, but their position still isn't secure. Remember, the entire top floor of layer is soft, including inside of ops, and with Aiden down below, his C4 has the potential to find all sorts of value.
They're going to make the push in and try and open up one of those, the wall into sight for a default plant. M80X not particularly well set up to defend that kind of a push. Bryce, the main counter, he's going to be the guy that they need to take down, but this fight downstairs on the first floor going to happen first.
Valkyrie on the board, which means that they've got some intel, and there's Aiden to go down. Vapoa taking him, so man advantage gets equalized as Vic is able to find Yuv off the board, and so entry not going to find one.
An excellent readout of Vapoa, making a solo play downstairs. He successfully takes down the C4, removing the threat, but at the same time, Yuv peeks the mask breach, trying to take a fight with Vic inside sight. He loses the engagement, allowing the round to settle in a 4v4. With the time getting low, Run It Back need to start thinking about their execute. They set up with 1 ops, 1 bridge, and 2 outside mask, looking to use smokes to allow a cross so they can attempt to plant in this corner opposite breach. This is actually a pretty solid execute, with Turkey preventing the defense from peeking Skybridge, while Vapoa holds ops and locks down Mez, in turn allowing Fozo to turn his full attention to sight to prevent the retake from there. There's just one thing the attack has missed. They've done an excellent job of locking down everything on the horizontal, but Siege is a game that's played in more than 2 dimensions. And the genius of M80X is identifying their win condition, even when the attack makes it hard to find. Remember those C4s they've brought along? Well, even though Aiden has already died below, all it takes is 1 player to drop down to replace him. And who better than the Valkyrie of Franklin to retake the space and perfectly use his utility to secure the round.
Okay, now on to the main breach. Going to start to make this final push in. Might have to deal with some vertical. Flashes go out. Stompin able to shotgun down Turkey as the smokes are there. So man advantage is into the hands of the defense, but they make it in. They make their way in, and they start to go for the plant. The cross is being held, but the shotgun, and Franklin again sends the C4. The man is devastating with those, which means now it's into a 4v1. Ace is alone, 3 seconds left. M80X 1 round away from qualifying for the Swiss stage.
Franklin C4 finds 2, while Stompin, aware as ever, perfectly shuts down the storage walkout of Turkey. M80X do such a good job of being aware of their gaps, always leaving at least 1 player in position to shut lurks down. They collect an untraded 3, leaving just Fozo outside the breach with no real hope of winning the round. M80X have been dominant since the side swap, winning round after round in convincing fashion. Now, they need just one more to put the game away, qualifying to the Challenger Series and giving them a shot at going to Pro League. It all comes down to this one round. For their next defense, M80X decide to go back downstairs, bringing along another similar lineup, though with one notable change. Aiden is playing Cav, universally recognized as one of the worst operators inside of Siege. But M80 are feeling so confident, they figure it doesn't matter. Run It Back again want to try and take and open up the vert. But with Aiden lurking behind the reception desk upstairs, his position could prove to be dangerous. The round starts, and Run It Back begin by immediately getting to work droning out armory, reception, and maintenance. Aiden calls this out to his teammate, and Stompin, feeling confident, decides to try and make a play to catch a player on drones. Stompin jumps out the yellow window and finds nobody there. He tries sprinting away to get inside warehouse, but despite his teammate coming to help, he's still taken down by Turkey. Opening secured, and this sets Run It Back up with their best chance so far at winning an attack. They move to take off their drone info, but they've not checked a crucial corner where Aiden waits patiently to punish them.
It's unusual that Stompin goes down in that opening pick, but Turkey has been, like we said, unstoppable right now. Aiden Tax holding underneath, listening. There it is. Gonna find one. Not gonna go for the Intero.
Going for the second, the shotgun. This cross is set up. Don't get caught slipping. Gets one down. He's gonna, can't go for it. But instead, it's just gonna be a menace. The rotate around, back into sight. Cav good for a double. Now into a 4v2 situation. It is starting to fall apart for Run It Back.
Aiden finds two, and despite being completely cut off by the rest of Run It Back already inside the first floor, he finds a way to hit the rotation station, pathing through outside to get back to sight. This is a genius play to keep himself alive, and as Vic picks up the knock in an engagement top blue, M80 secure themselves an overwhelming advantage with which to play the remainder of the round. Fozo and Rai Rai have no tools to work vert, so they decide to simply try for broke. They stack up lower blue, looking to take fights in desperation, hoping they can find a few picks to bring the deficit back. But with overwhelming crossfires trained on the choke point site door, there's really no hope for the attack.
Running it next weekend and moving on to the Swift stage here and present. They're just going to have to risk it. They push in through the smoke. Blackbeard taking a bunch of damage. Couple of pre-fires through the wall bang, but nobody there. And it is Cav again. Oh man, Franklin's actually going to make the kill, but Cav gets in and does the disruption. Does get taken down. Now into a 2v1 scenario, low health situation, 10 seconds left. I think we can start to potentially call this one. He's got to find the kills, but it's too little, it's too late. M80X is moving on to the Swiss stage.